This is Minutia Men with Rick and Dave.
Well, happy birthday, America.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just passed another birthday, our 249th.
We're looking pretty good for 240.
I mean,
well,
it's been better, but
we're beginning to show our age a little bit, I think.
I was at a party. How about, what did you do July
we went
4th?
we went to a ball game. We saw the Chicago Dogs.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was, they had a nice fireworks display.
Great.
Saw a lot of people there with varying political views, which is great because we call that inclusion and diversity.
That's
people.
right.
But no, it was fine.
I went to a party in the neighborhood here. Some good friends of ours live on a golf course, and they have like a porch overlooking where the fireworks are. And so every year they gather people, and we sit there and we watch the fireworks together. There was one small problem this year with that, and that was the fireworks were on July 5th. And
you guys screwed up.
So everybody was there on the wrong day. But other than that, it was fun.
What did they serve?
My God. Steak, giants. The steak like the size of your head, and burgers, and borscht, and all sorts of good stuff.
Borscht.
Sausage.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry.
We don't have a very cosmopolitan. That's sausages.
Sausage.
You didn't put any ketchup on those sausages.
I didn't put any ketchup on the sausage. It is time for Minutia Men.
The following is a Tony Lasano podcast, an Opie production on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. This is Minutia Men with Rick and Dave.
Yeah, our neighborhood. Are you guys a firecracker neighborhood or a?
Yes, we are.
Ours is just ridiculous.
Yeah, there's a couple of houses around here that have like teenagers. Yeah. And it was bad. Yeah.
Well, I live in the city, inner city.
How does Wes handle the fireworks?
You know what? He just really doesn't care.
Yeah, Ivy didn't care either.
It doesn't have
whatever.
I did take him out though. He didn't like being outside.
Okay.
He would constantly come back and took a dump in our kitchen. But
so maybe it was bothering him.
But I mean, thankfully, no whining or hiding under a bed or anything like that. He's got a bowel movement issue.
Okay.
Whatever. So, but hey, we got a huge show.
Yes, let's get to it.
We better get going. This is from Brazil.
Okay.
I have relatives in Brazil, Sao Paulo.
Yeah, I do too. I'm not sure how they ended up there.
With different names.
Or why they ended up there, but...
And we don't talk about Uncle Ernst anymore.
Yeah, and two of the birds named after Kempfers are in Brazil.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, but never mind. Carry on with what you've got.
What would the birds be called?
Well, there's a bird called Kempfer's Toady Tyrant.
Yeah, right.
That is in Brazil.
Okay.
And there's another one called Kempfer's Woodpecker that is in Brazil.
Hey.
And they were both discovered by Eduard Kempfer.
Yeah. Okay. Well, incidentally, and I don't want no spoiler, we've got a book about birds coming up.
We do.
In just nary a few weeks.
Yeah.
But we'll put that.
Save it.
Put that in the nest. Hey, so this comes out of Brazil. Woman spends 2 years going to funerals just to flirt with the undertaker. After falling for the local undertaker, a Brazilian woman spent 2 years attending funerals in her community in hopes of catching the man's eye. Daniela Signor and Apollo Scariat surprised a lot of people when they arrived at their wedding venue in a funeral hearse. But to those who knew their unusual love story, the choice made perfect sense. So things worked out great, right? Daniela first laid eyes on Apollo in 2023 while attending the funeral service of a deceased relative and started to crush hard on old Apollo, right? He was the funeral director, and he seemed to be too focused on his job to notice her.
Huh.
Okay. But she didn't let that discourage her. So every 10 days or so, she would attend another funeral at his funeral home.
Yeah.
Evidently, does a funeral home usually have about 35 funerals a year or something
like
whatever?
That, yeah.
So she went to all of them. I mean, I don't know if she had a loyalty card or whatever.
Yeah,
but
I think I'd do the same.
Well, we're going to get to you.
Yeah.
So she would attend funerals just to meet Apollo. It took a while, but the strategy finally worked.
Did she use like pickup lines? Are we getting there too?
Okay. Sort of, right. Eventually, Apollo stopped worrying about the corpses so much and noticed the crazy woman that was at every friggin' funeral. Daniela has a good sense of humor. In a recent interview with Brasilia Today, she said, in a town this small, crashing funerals is basically speed dating, just with more flowers and less wine. Every time someone passed away, I'd be like, well, I guess I'm putting on my little black thing again. And she went on about Apollo saying he was always so serious and professional, which somehow made him even hotter, like a sexy Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, as you know, I'm an idea guy.
Yes.
Right? And I can't turn it off, Rick. It's not something I ideate.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we call that in the game
Ideate.
ideating, right?
Yeah.
So this gave me an idea for a dating app.
Okay.
Okay, right? Do you see where I'm going here?
Uh-huh.
Using funerals to get a little something,
Sure.
right? I mean, this is, again, another $1 million idea given to the listeners, and all you guys have to do is like and subscribe to us and maybe throw a review.
Okay.
But here's $1 million idea. So first off, I'm working up some ideas for the app, from corpses to coitus. Okay.
Yeah.
Ashes to asses.
Okay, not bad.
Grave mates, last rites, first dates, eulogy and chill. Are any of these working?
Okay,
for
not
you?
really, no.
Really?
Yeah.
Bone appetit.
Not bad.
Okay. Grave intentions. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Morning after. Get it? With an O?
With a U.
Yes.
Yeah.
You didn't like ashes to asses?
Oh, no, I like that one.
Okay.
That's a good
All
one.
right. So this is my vision.
Okay.
We'll use artificial intelligence. Okay. And perhaps some ethically questionable data mining.
Okay.
And we're going to have you find the sexiest and most emotionally vulnerable people at funerals. Okay.
Great.
So the algorithm will
my
scrape. So the algorithm, I've had a lot of thought here. Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to have this really great algorithm, right? And they're going to scrape, scrape all the,
data.
Obituaries,
Yeah.
right? And they're going to cross-reference it with social media, right?
Okay.
And Ancestry.com and 23andMe to get the hottest DNA. Okay.
Are you going to use AI for this?
Oh, yeah. We're going to get
yeah.
AI here.
Yeah.
And what we're going to do, and there's going to be filters, too. Like, look, it's not enough just to go to a funeral with hot people,
God,
right?
Get inside this brain of yours someday.
Well,
it's a scary place.
Well, let's be honest. Alcohol consumption doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be a setting and a filter. Irish wedding. Right? Or
Okay.
German wedding, for instance, right? So you're going to be able to... This is not resonating with you. I thought it was...
No, I mean... It's such a bold concept that it is hard for a little brain like mine to comprehend.
Well, and while the Jews aren't known for alcohol,
Yeah.
we like food. So instead of love, looking for some locks, right? So, but here's where I think that you're really coming into this.
Okay.
If things don't work out with you and Bridget,
Yeah.
have you ever thought of using your eulogies to scope women?
Ooh.
Right? Like saying, Helmut just, we're sorry that Helmut just passed away.
Oh.
Heaven gained an angel, like the hottie in the third pew.
Oh, not bad.
Right? Think about that.
I hope this gravestone isn't the only thing we erect today. Something like that, maybe. Or grabbing a rose and pointing to the thorns and saying, "I'm hornier." Or thornier. Thornier.
Okay. See, you're beginning to get it a little bit,
I'm
right?
getting it.
Well,
hey, this casket isn't the only thing you can climb inside of today. Something like that.
So you know what I think is hilarious? You were a little disdainful of what I'm saying, and now you are flopping out even more repulsive things, right?
Yeah, well, that's what I do.
But yeah, I mean, I think again, some sort of dating.
It's a free idea,
and I think asses to ashes is really what we're going to.
That's probably the best one,
right?
That's probably the best one. Well, I've got a story.
See, Bon appetit is pretty good too.
That's
right?
a good one too.
Yeah.
This story's kind of similar, actually. Okay. I've got a story about the U.S. government preparing to breed billions of flies and dump them out of airplanes over Mexico and southern Texas. And the reason why they're doing this is they're fighting a flesh-eating maggot.
Oh.
Right now, this doesn't sound similar, but we're getting there.
Okay.
It sounds more like the plot of a horror movie, but it's part of the government's plans for protecting the U.S. from a bug that can devastate its beef industry.
Okay.
They can decimate wildlife, kill household pets. This is a terrible pest that we have to get rid of. It's a flesh-eating larva of the New World screwworm fly. And the U.S. Department of Agriculture plans to ramp up the breeding and distribution of adult male flies. Now, what they're doing is they're sterilizing the male flies with radiation and then releasing them into the wild. This is a true story. They mate with the females in the wild, and the females lay eggs, but the eggs are not fertilized because these are, they're basically sterile flies, and we're sending them out there. And then what happens is there are fewer larvae over time, and the fly population dies out. Now, because they're farm-raised flies, however, they do need to be taught how to woo the wild flies.
Okay, of course. Good.
And
they're very provincial. They don't have a lot of experience.
They don't know anything. They're just, farm flies, right? And they don't know how to deal with the wild flies that are out there. So they're given
So this is like an etiquette, like the story we did last, teaching them like etiquette, for instance, right?
It's sort of like that. It's giving them can't fail pickup lines for the wild flies. Okay. And so, like, for instance, are you Little Caesars? Because your ovipositor is hot and my etiquette is ready. Like that, see? Right. How do you like your eggs in the morning? Scrambled or fertilized?
Okay.
See, these are...
And you didn't laugh at last right's first dates. Okay.
Hey, they're good looking. Want to go half and half on a bastard maggot? Here's my two favorites, all right? You ready? Now, these are very helpful for these
rubes.
Farm flies.
Yeah, rubes.
Right? Yeah. Did you sit on a box of Lucky Charms? Because that anal Cersei is magically delicious. And these are correct terms, too, by the way. And then,
magically delicious is
number one. Is this stool taken?
Okay, I see what you did there. All right. There you go. Wow, we have lost literally every one of our listeners. Hey, this comes out of Pod Hop from Peril. We got a review. Minutia Man is like NPR on a hangover if NPR cared about embarrassing deaths and obscure Chicago trivia. Would I recommend? Sure. Should you admit to listening? That's between you and your therapist.
Yeah, especially after today. Yeah. Time for another feature.
Time now for Studio Walls.
And the words of the prophets were written on the studio walls.
Because you see, stool's another word for poop, and flies. Yeah, they land on poop. So
see, eulogy and chill. That's a playoff. That's a play on Netflix and chill.
I see how this works now. Yeah. So this week in 2019 was a big week in Chicago. There was a alligator found in one of the lagoons in Chicago, I think in Humboldt Park.
Yeah.
And there was a naming contest and everything. It was a huge story, and everyone was talking about it.
This is what, 6 years ago?
Yeah.
How quaint does that seem now with the world that we live in now?
Right? Bring it back. Please bring that world back. I call it the before times.
Yeah.
But yes, that was a big story, and we talked to the guy who is I believe he's the editor of Block Club Chicago.
Right,
Block Club Chicago. Seamus Toomey is his name, and he told us all about this story about Chance
Chance the Snapper.
And here's that story.
That was absolutely, that's going to be the story I'll be talking about for years because, for one, it was the sort of story that everyone could appreciate and like, and no one was getting hurt.
Right.
There was no sadness. It was just sort of
no way to politicize it.
Right. Exactly. And it was, it came in. It was about as organic of a story as possible. Someone emailed our newsroom and said, "Hey, I'm a subscriber. I think I just saw an alligator or a crocodile in the Humboldt Park Lagoon." And, we do this a lot. And, the first thought was like, "Oh, God, I sure hope it is. Let's go chase it." We didn't want to blow it off because, like, if that was a true story, what a scoop it would be. So our reporter got out there and found someone who had taken a picture of it and got basically the park district to say, yes, people have been reporting it. And and off we went.
It was a national story. It was a huge thing.
And we would hear from people in Florida, be like, I can't believe you guys in Chicago are freaking out over an alligator.
Right. Yeah. It's like the way we react when the South shuts down over a snowstorm.
Yeah, right. An inch and a half of snow.
Right. Exactly. Oh,
Exactly.
you can't. All the roads are impassable. Oh.
Oh, it was fantastic, and there were some really good photos of it taken. People were trying to tell us like, no, that's just a log, and then a photographer who was there shooting I believe it was like a Sweet 16 photo shoot, got this alligator in the background, and from the looks of the first picture, it looked like it might have been like 20 feet long, and something like Chud, going through going through the sewers and eating all the rats, and then when they finally pulled this thing out, it was about 5 feet long. Right. It looked like a baby alligator. We all kind of thought
it was cute. It was a cute little gator.
It was cute. And
did someone put it in? Did someone? Did you ever find out the origin of Chance?
No.
I mean, how did he get there?
That's one of the great Chicago stories still sitting out there waiting for someone to break. We don't know who put the alligator in. Everyone suspects, including the folks that caught it, that said this was a pet alligator that had been based on some discoloration in his eyes and the fact that his snout was upturned, had been in a container and probably in somebody's basement and had grown a little too big for his container and was starting to, had nowhere else to go. So that's the suspicion. Right. Is this was a pet, an illegal pet that someone just dumped in the lagoon, hoping to get rid of it.
There he is. That's Seamus Toomey. It's a good Irishman.
Chance the Snapper. What a great name too. I wish you don't know what the other names. There was a couple of clever names that came out. There was
I can't remember them all.
That was but like you say, I yearn for those kind of little stories now.
And it was like a weeks long story in Chicago because they could never catch it, and there would be more sightings of the alligator, and this is a city with 8 million people, but we never get gators. Yeah. So that was a story.
I think one of the names was Barack, or there was some play on Barack, Barackadile or something.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Hey, this story comes out of the Czech Republic. You've been to the Czech Republic.
I have.
Let me ask you a question. Did you move your bowels in public?
I did not.
Did you, for the entire time you were in the Czech Republic, did you?
Well, I was only there for 2 days.
Oh, so probably not. Right.
Yeah.
You could do that time on your head.
You know what? I think I did, actually, because we had a nice hotel. I think it was fine.
Well, this comes out of the Czech Republic. Family sets up fake dental clinic and perform dozens of procedures using online tutorials. A 22-year-old Czech man and his parents.
There are YouTube videos that'll teach you anything.
And I'm going to tell you a story later on, which is really far more disconcerting than this. A 22-year-old Czech man and his parents posed as dentistry professionals and performed dozens of root canals and tooth fillings with the help of YouTube tutorials. This happened in Havlíčkův Brod. Did you ever?
I did not.
It's a town about 100 kilometers from Prague. The family posed as dentistry professionals for 2 years. They performed root canals and extractions and tooth fillings and prosthetics. Okay. Evidently, the father, age 44, was very handy, and he would create dentures or whatever. So everything was going right until they screwed up and almost killed somebody, and then the man is bringing us down. Right. So I did a little research, and there are so many examples of people using YouTube tutorials for do-it-yourself medical procedures. Mm-hmm. For instance, and this comes out, and this is during COVID, so maybe there's a little slack we can give them, but this comes out of Springfield, Illinois, and here is the headline from, what's the Springfield paper? Past Dispatch, or... I didn't put down, what is the Springfield newspaper, do you know?
The Post-Dispatch?
I think that's what it is. I didn't write it down. Farmer attempts self-performed vasectomy using livestock methods ends in emergency. A local farmer's attempt to perform a vasectomy on himself using techniques borrowed from farm animal procedures resulted in a medical emergency. Name redacted. Yeah. Let's call him Jenkins.
Jenkins!
Okay, yeah, exactly.
Reportedly decided to forego professional medical care after watching a YouTube tutorial entitled DIY vasectomy, what you need to know, which combined traditional livestock castration methods with basic surgical steps. Believing that the video provided sufficient guidance, Jenkins attempted to replicate the procedure using fishing line, ice packs, and household tools.
On himself.
The case highlights the risks associated with self-performed surgical procedures, Dr. Lee said. Yeah. Medical invention should only be conducted by trained professionals, whatever, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I have a true story. Not me.
Okay.
But it's more dental. I had a printer, a guy who I was selling years ago, 20, 25, 30 years ago, who had a tooth that was like growing sideways.
Yeah, into his jaw.
Whatever, basically. And he didn't want to spend the money on getting it extracted.
Yeah.
So, come on, who's got $800 bucks, right?
Exactly.
Whatever. So, and this is a true story. I'm not going to name who he is, but his print shop was on Harlem Avenue near Fullerton. He, every day, would loosen the tooth a little bit by hand, like using pliers and whatever, just a little bit every day. And like within, I don't know, 6 weeks, he took it out and showed it to me.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, and his face was all swollen, whatever. Saved $800. Like, dude, I would have given you this.
Is he still alive?
I lost touch with him.
Wow.
And I think of myself.
Yeah.
I can't put a Band-Aid on me without wincing in agony.
No. Yeah, we are not the type of people that can be dropped into any historical era other than the one we're in right now.
And we just had a interview that's going to be on next week with Bob Conlin.
Yeah.
Who his book is about late 1800s Chicago.
Yeah,
we would have
been dead
immediately
for sure.
Right.
Well, I have a story.
We would
for
have
you.
died not of smallpox, but like minutia pox.
Hit by a horse or something. I've got a story.
Allergies,
for you.
no, hay fever would have gotten us. I think
this is this is from our China desk.
Oh.
In a fun twist on staying
Did you say
bed.
fun twist?
Fun twist. Oh, yeah. A man from China has taken it to a whole new level, Dave. He has retrofitted his mattress with a joystick controller, motor, and wheels, and created a mobile bed that moves at the pace of walking.
Wasn't there a Disney movie about a flying bed or whatever?
Yeah, there was. Bed knobs and broomsticks or something like that. Well, this quirky invention allows him to hang out with pets, take a sip of his drink, and cruise through the village all without standing up. The video making the rounds shows him reclining comfortably as his bed glides along flat ground, navigates uneven paths, and even climbs stairs and slopes. And the joystick under his hand lets him brake or steer.
Family show.
Making what looks like a lazy day into a full adventure. Which
it sounds...
Now, when we graduated college, we had a million of those get-rich-quick schemes like... yours was.
I believe we've shown a couple today, actually. Right?
Yeah, I believe we have. This is kind of how we have always been. But yours was selling black socks to kids who were going for job interviews.
Right, you set up on
downtown.
Michigan Avenue.
Because there's so many. There's so many kids that have no black socks.
But was it yours to record answering machine messages for people for $5?
Yes, it was. All right. So these weren't great ideas, but think about this. Who likes to sleep more than any other age group?
Us. Baby boomers.
Teenagers.
Oh, well, college kids.
Teenagers and college kids, yes. I'm telling you, we sit outside a high school or a college in a rich neighborhood with a few dozen of these motorized beds. We're going to make a fortune. We'll be living in Hawaii. We'll be doing this show from Hawaii next time we get together.
I'm trying to think. It wouldn't be Uber. What would it be? We'll have to come up with a name for the transport, or have you done that already?
I have not. No.
Quickly go on AI and see what happens.
I do like that, though. All right, it's time for another
time
feature.
now for Rick and Dave to open up that e-bag of email.
All right, we've got two this week. One is an email just correcting us from last episode, which is always one of my favorite things.
If you're getting news from us.
Yeah. This is from John.
Yeah.
John says, last week you talked about Ventnor Avenue in Monopoly. Rick correctly said the name, but got the color wrong. Ventnor is a yellow property, dumbass. The light blue one is Vermont.
Okay. Whoa.
Excellent point, John. A little aggressive.
Yeah.
A little aggressive.
Maybe, John, you should pay a little less attention to the minutia of our podcast. But go on. That's fine. Thank you, John.
But I did like that. So the other thing we're doing now is we're talking about...
What's wrong, honey? What's wrong, John? You seem really...
He said it was the light blue one.
Right.
What a moron. We also talk about the celebrities that have passed away this week, and we lost a couple of.
You said we
big
got
ones
2
this week.
emails. Is that
This last one's not an email; it's a story
Okay.
about these people. All right, so Diego Jota,
that's a horrible story.
a Liverpool soccer player, 28 years old. He died in a car crash this week. I've been watching a lot of soccer games, and every time somebody scores, including anybody who plays anywhere, they put out the number 2 and 0.
That's his number.
That was his number. Or they play with like a joystick because that, like a fake joystick.
And then they ride around in a bed.
No, this is real. Yeah. They play around with a fake joystick because that was his goal celebration. When he would score, he would, go down on his knees. Because he was pretending like he was playing FIFA.
I see that.
Okay, so that was his goal celebration.
Okay.
So that's
kind of clever.
And it's kind of cool. Another one who passed away this week was Michael Madsen, the Chicago actor.
The character he played in Reservoir Dogs.
Oh my God, he's so great.
It was great.
I never met him. I met his sister Virginia. I've got a story about her, but I'm not going to tell it. It's a long story. And then the other one was Bobby Jenks.
Big bad Bobby Jenks, yeah.
Who was the closer on the White Sox back in 2005 when they won the World Series.
He was on the mound when they won.
He was.
Yeah.
That's right. And it made me think of, I once wrote a poem, and it includes Bobby Jenks.
Okay.
And I wrote it on the day that the White Sox won the World Series.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You not being a White Sox fan at the time, and if I remember correctly, you were a little bitter.
I was a little bitter.
In fact, I don't think we talked for about a week.
Well, I was upset because A.J. Pierzynski stole a win in the opening round of the playoffs.
Because you're such a purist, right?
Yes, and I felt that wasn't cool.
You and Dane. I don't think I talked to either of you guys.
We were not happy.
2 weeks.
But here's what happened. So
hold on. Do you remember the story with Dane? He was broadcasting live after the games, and I would see him after the game, and it was game 2 that we were at. Yeah. Well, you were maybe with me.
I might have been, yeah.
When Scott Podsednik hit the home run.
Yes.
And I see Dane afterwards, and I'm like, Dane, how you doing? He's like, did you see that throw that Scott Podsednik made in the top of the 9th inning? It was terrible. He just hit a home run to win the World Series, right? And he's
we are who we are.
Right. He has no arm.
Well, so it turns out John Landecker, who I used to work for, called me up because he was filling in on WLS radio the next day.
Oh, was he already on? Were you guys already?
We were not doing the show anymore.
You were already
we
done.
had just the year before stopped doing it. And he called me up and he said, "Can you please write a parody of Casey at the Bat?"
Yeah.
And
make it
that
about
I'd like
the White
to
Sox.
make it about the White Sox,
Sure.
and I'll read it tomorrow.
Okay.
And so I did.
Yeah.
And this is, would you like to hear it?
Sure.
It's going to bring back memories. But Bobby Jenks is in this. And that's the reason we're doing it. The outlook wasn't brilliant for the White Sox 9 that day. The Angels led 1-0. Game 2 was slipping away. And then when A.J. got strike 2 and missed strike 3 the same, a pall-like silence fell upon all the Sox fans at the game. The Angels catcher tossed Pierzynski's ball out to the mound, but A.J. turned and ran to first with outrage all around. The umpire calmly stood his ground, achieving instant fame, and A.J. somehow found a brand new way to win a game. The White Sox never lost again, and shining stars were born. Each time Joe Crede came to bat, the other team would mourn. And he and Juan Uribe were magicians with their gloves, and Paul Konerko was the home run hero we all love. When Ozzie came out to the mound, he motioned round and fat, and Bobby Jenks showed the Astros why he wanted that. And little Scott Podsednik hit the home run in Game 2, and the White Sox starting pitching was like a dream come true. In Game 3's 14th inning, the Astros fans were glum, beaten by a former Astro named Jeff Blum. And Jermaine Dye had a shining moment in Game 4 when he knocked in the winning run. The White Sox shut the door. And though each game was close and tight, the White Sox never feared. Ever since AJ's run to first, they knew this was their year. And now the catcher catches the ball, and now he lets it go, and now the air is shattered by the AJ we all owe. Oh, somewhere in this country, some fans are screaming foul, but White Sox fans say let them scream, let them cry and growl, because White Sox fans are laughing, and White Sox fans can shout. The South Side is rejoicing. Perzinski has struck out.
That's good. Let me ask, so did you write your dad's eulogy?
Yes.
Which was harder to write, your dad's eulogy?
This was harder.
The poem about the White Sox
This
winning?
was hard. It was pretty pro White Sox.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a couple of digs in.
Of course, you couldn't.
But I am who I am.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's from 2005.
Why don't you
and rest in peace, Bobby Jenks, because everyone loved Bobby Jenks.
Yeah. He overcame a ton of personal demons too to become where he was. Why don't you tell our listeners about what you wore to Game 2 of the World Series that I took you to?
Yeah,
I sprung.
Is it really important?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
Come on, let's see. You always say how petty I am. Why don't you? What were you wearing to that?
I might have been wearing a Kerry Wood jersey, Cubs Kerry Wood jersey, underneath 14 coats. Because if you remember, it was 30 below zero that day.
Didn't you wear Cubs boxers too?
I did wear Cubs boxers too.
But then,
is that petty?
A little petty. But then didn't everything turn out, well, obviously the White Sox won, but didn't the guy in front of you at the beer stand by you?
Yeah, this is such a terrible story.
Okay,
so I went to get a beer, and the guy in front of me in line turned around and said, "I'm buying one for this guy too because we just saw the greatest game
we're White
ever."
Sox Nation,
right?
Yeah.
And I was like, "Don't make me like you. Don't make me like you." So anyway, that's rest in peace, Bobby Jenks.
Yeah, he was a young guy,
46, I think. Just terrible.
Just a couple of years ago, he was the manager, or maybe even last year, the manager of one of the minor league teams here in Crestwood, or whatever. It must have,
Bummer. All right, we have people to thank for this show.
Tony Lasano, thanks for all you do, Tony.
Yes, thank you for AI for coming up with some jokes for us.
I didn't. Asses to Ashes was not AI.
No, you did it all by yourself.
No, one of them was. I think Grave Intentions was AI generated, but all the other.
Okay.
Maybe Last Rites, First Dates, but no, Asses to Ashes or Ashes to Asses. Which is my favorite.
It's a good one.
It was
okay.
Was Dave generated.
We also need to thank Ed Silla of the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. Great Talk Radio isn't dead. It just moved to a better place. It's radiomisfits.com. And we'll be back again next week with a brand new episode of
Minutia Man.
The proceeding was a presentation of the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. Find our other great shows on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and at radiomisfits.com. Thank you.
This has been a presentation of Opie Productions.
Tony, can you shut up?
On himself.